Hi, I'm Rickey Chavez. I'm hosting the show called Battle Ready, where everybody at any time can reinvent themselves, no matter what they're going through. One of the things we're going to talk about today in this segment with Dan Moran, the owner of GOAT Athletics, is finding mentors. Don't hide. Don't go into your little own cave and not find somebody to talk to. There's mentors out there. You can mentor at any given time, and you can be mentored. Dan? Hey, Dan, how's it going this morning?
Great, Ricky.
You know, in one of our other segments, we just talked about, you know, where you came from and where you're at now. And one of the things we talked about was, you know, surround yourself with the right people, you know. And I think one of the things that I like to really dive into right now is mentorship. Because at your level, you're mentoring your people, but talk about your mentors. How did you fall into the mentors? What did they mentor you on to get you where you're at?
Right. Fortunate being in a large family. I had four older brothers, and I learned, and growing up, good, bad, or indifferent, aspired to be like, my brothers. I mean, that's what a little brother does, right? But I can look back on people that I've respected and looking back have mentored me over time. I had an influential teacher in third grade, Mrs. Garner, and she was very influential, and she taught me a lot of lessons. She had one week where I got caught chewing gum like 3 days in a row, and she made me spit it out. And she told me the last time, she said, if you don't have enough for everyone, you can't chew gum. So the next day I came in with two packs of Plenty Packs. I'm dating myself because people probably don't know what the Plenty Packs are,
Right.
but I had enough for the whole class, and we all chewed gum. So, but she taught me a lot of life lessons that in a 1 year period. I'm really fortunate and appreciate what she did. When I move on, I can look at high school, played athletics, played high school, college football, and Andy Brennan, my offensive line coach, where I threw out uh, his last quote, was very influential on helping me become and making me a man. And short story long, when I was 16 years old, my family knew that I'd get a scholarship playing athletics. Well, my parents moved from California to Arizona, and the football just wasn't that high of caliber out there. So they let me come back and live with my brother. And at the time, my brother was engaged and courting a gal, so I was kind of on my own since I was 16. My senior year, I lived with a friend and his family, the Ortiz family, best Mexican food in the world. Helped me gain about 20 pounds for college, which was good. But when I moved on to college, I had a few mentors in college, particularly my senior year. My offensive line coach was Andy Reid, and what a great person he is. Not only at the time of coaching, but even today. If I text Andy, he'll text me back within minutes. When we go see a game in Kansas City, he'll roll out the red carpet, and the main thing he asks is, "How come you haven't reached out sooner?" So what a great mentor that is. But when I look, around my life, I look at, the ultimate. I look at Jesus Christ. I look at, centering my life on probably the best human being ever. A lot of times, my mentorship hasn't been formal, but it's been by observation and aspiring of who I want to be like and who I want to surround myself with. When I look at my friends and who I hang out with, it's just a great group of super successful people that we all feed on each other, and we all share, in our different successes and failures in life. I mean, that's probably the best way we grow, is failing.
You know, you're talking about your group, and I actually know your group very well. And I think the one thing you said was super successful people. But as I look through our friends, at least 60% of them, or even maybe more, started at the School of Hard Knocks, didn't have anything, had to go through things, and were persistent. I know we talk all the time on strategies and stuff, and one of the things people fail to really get is people always say practice makes perfect, but you and I both know it's not practice that makes perfect. It's perfect practice that makes perfect. So it's very important that, when you're out there, it's you trying to find how you can do the best thing. And when you transitioned from selling the walls in the hotels to the equipment, your practice make perfect was the fact that you had to understand the equipment, your use, your competitors. And then during that time, have you ever had a mentor that was a competitor?
I think in life I've had mentors, maybe not a competitor, but I've had mentors that that I didn't know, and they had no idea that they would be a mentor. When I look at companies and I look at individuals, with success brings curiosity for me. And if I have competitors that are super successful, I try to find out why. And again, I'm not a rocket scientist. I think sometimes in life, many times in life, it's not reinventing the wheel, it's just making it run smoother. So, if I can look at my competition or others in life who are successful, and there's a way I can plug that in and emulate it in my life, hey, I'm all for it.
That makes a lot of sense. I know, and I think the thing that caught me out of this conversation was that you can adjust other people's successes to fit you. And I know when I was in the military, we were very competitive. We were military recruiters. We recruited for the Army, but the other service recruiters were also, everybody was fighting for the same pool. And we realized in Clovis, New Mexico, when we were the most successful, was we as recruiters got together and realized there's the right fit for everybody. The Army may not be the right fit, or Marine might be the right, whoever, but if you go with a steady front and make it a positive experience, more people take that opportunity to excel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's go back to the networking part and the mentoring part. When you hire somebody and when you're looking at people's resumes, the one thing I do know about you is you have a very straightforward approach to people, But I also know that you, even though you kind of act like you don't, have a big heart, and you feel that if somebody shows potential, the experience is not as crucial, because if they're coachable, then you can work with that. Is that correct?
Oh, amen to that, Ricky. I will take drive and hard work over a pedigree any day. I've interviewed literally hundreds, maybe even into the thousands of people in my lifetime. And just because you have a master's degree doesn't mean, you're worth $100,000, right? What we try to find is we try to find people with that moral fiber, that people that can make it happen. There's only three types of people in this world: people that make it happen, people that watch it happen, and people that wondered what the heck happened.
I know, I hear that from you all the time.
I surround myself in business daily with people that make it happen. And the great thing about, we opened up GOAT Athletics in March of 2024. We handpicked and surrounded ourselves with people that can make it happen, people that we trust, and people that have drive, that me being the leader of this company, I don't have to babysit anyone, because everyone knows what to do. We know the challenges. We've had everyone help us in creating systems and procedures that are straight line, so we don't deviate into nonsense and meetings and things that you just don't need to do to be successful.
So it goes back to you do a coaching approach to the people that you work with. You give them, guidelines and guidance on what you want them to achieve. You follow up on them. You mentor them through their hard times, and you move on. That's what's made your company successful, right?
Right. And I think, Ricky, there's one big reason. It's the major reason why leaders fail in this world. It's because they do not communicate. My communication is daily, it's direct. I don't go to sleep without communicating and say, hey, I should have told this person that. You know, and the main reason why leaders fail is they don't want to communicate the tough conversations, whether that's bad news, whether that's corrective action, whether that, hey, they're the wrong fit for us. I can safely say there's probably 40% of the workforce in America that, given the chance, might be let go, right? But bosses look the other way and they don't have those tough decisions. When I look at things like evaluations, life lesson for me is early on, I worked in retail for a lumber yard. And I sat in when I was a trainee, I was a manager trainee, sat in on a meeting with another assistant manager. And he gave this department head an evaluation. And I had worked with the department head and he was doing a pretty good job. And there's some things, he could probably do better, but he was, on a scale from 1 to 10, he was a solid 7.5, 8. I mean, he took care of his customers. In that evaluation, the manager dropped the bomb on him and gave him a does not exceed expectations on his whole review, which would be like probably a 3.5 to 4. After the meeting, I just took it and, I casually talked to the department head afterwards and I said, hey, how did that go? And he goes, that was a total surprise to me. He'd never talked to me about anything of my deficiencies that he put on the evaluation. And from that day on, I was probably 23, 24 years old. I vowed that in leadership, I would never sucker punch anyone. And if there was a conversation to be had, I'm going to have it today. I'm going to have it tomorrow. I'm going to have it the next day, but I'm not going to wait to an evaluation to drop a bomb on an employee. And I just thought that was just bad management.
As a director of HR for different companies, and I can remember talking to 2 individuals that got an evaluation that they didn't know anything was coming. They had never been coached, counseled, and all of a sudden they want to terminate them. And we walked through that and get that fixed. So we put programs in place. But coming back over to our networking spot, we're getting ready to start running out of time. I want you to relax a little bit. We're going to come back and talk to you in a little bit. And everybody else, we'll be back in a minute.